Williamson is 10 times the world champion. Bax and Stupilis, they've done it again. Unbelievable. Marvin van Luckener certainly deserves the red plate. And what an incredible sport this is. Fast, high and spectacular. Unbelievable. Benny Weiss and Patrick Schneider, who bring it home to the jubilation.
I think tonight I will have a good sleep.
Koen Hermans getting the drop.
I only had 2 fingers on the handlebar, so yeah, a little bit lucky, but you need some luck, yeah.
Checkered flags for Koen Hermans and Ben van den Bogart. Prunier boys then, checkered flag.
What to say, just a perfect race from the start to the end.
Stuart Brown straight through. A victory lap for Kylian Evan Prunier.
After this, the crowd was just unbelievable. I could just not hear the engine. We made some mistake because of this, but it's just so positive. And thanks to them, because the victory is a part of them, because we had this extra energy to fight back on base and finally get the overall. Yeah.
Welcome back to Gdańsk. We're here for race 2, but this is what happened in race 1. It was a close run thing to the front, but the Leeuwardis twins got the drop, and they never really looked back until the closing stages. Marvin van Luckener, Nicolas Mousset went with them all the way. Justin Kerben was tucked in there as well. Davy Sanders in 3rd place at this moment. The Prunier boys with Hermans a little way further back. There were so many white shirts it made identification difficult, but Marvin van Luckener and Nicolas Mousset were chasing the Leeuwardis boys hand over fist. It was going to be a tough call for Marvin because he's still suffering with his illness and he might not go the distance. As it happened, that turned out to be the case. But the Leeuwardis twins were in control until the Prunier boys got a scent of their aftershave. And then they were really on them, closing them down lap after lap after lap. And the overall winners of the Grand Prix in Brugge were looking set here for another victory, and it wasn't long before they closed down the Leeuwardis boys and took a brave passing move. Meanwhile, the young Latvians were fighting as hard as they could. Kerben was fighting off the attentions of Koen Hermans, who was also coming fast. But once Prunier was alongside, he gave it his best shot, and it wasn't long before he took the lead in emphatic style, moved into the front to the cheers of a few French supporters here. Disappointment for the Latvians, but once ahead, the Prunier brothers never looked back. Justin Kerben was fighting a rearguard action. The red plate was coming with Koen Hermans and Ben van den Bogart in control. But on the final lap, the Prunier boys took victory here, their 2nd victory in the 2025 season. Leeuwardis twins back on form. There, the wide shot from our drone. What a spectacular track this is. And what's that done to the standings? Well, it's closed up a little bit. Prunier right on the back. Van Luckener dropping back. Brett Wilkinson closing in now. And these are the standings before race 2. Before race 1, in actual fact. Those are the standings coming into this 4th round here in Gdańsk. Kerben will have done himself a power of good. Stuart Brown not here this weekend. Davy Sanders and Jens Vincent, always good starters. Leeuwardis boys came here in 11th, but with that race 1 2nd place, they've already significantly moved that forward. Michael Hodges and Ryan Henderson there. And here's how they line up. Van Luckener, I've been reliably informed, will not go in this one because his illness has overtaken him and he really is not fit to race. He's exhausted. If he appears on the line, then I'll eat my words and no one will be more surprised than me. Prunier's there, Hermans, Leeuwardis, Sanders, Lefferink, Benny Weiss. Brett Wilkinson will start again from 8th place. He did that in race 1, didn't get the best of starts, but had to work through, and work through he did to finish in 6th. Mike Hodges, Stefan Wise, the Wyman brothers, the rest of those guys all fighting, and a big contingent here from the Baltic countries. Robert Leitz and Markus Lehner being the fastest of them, with the exception, of course, of Gert Gordiev, who was a championship regular. Ula Karing, more from and then Lithuania, the Baltisas father and son team. Pertinas, Alexieves, that's Lithuanian Latvian pairing there. Czechs from Czech Republic, Ladislav Vidaslav Pech. This is the place to start from. Hard over on that side, and with the absence of Marvin van Lukenen, Kilian Evon Prunier have claimed that vacant spot. Koen Hermans is going one in, the Lille Bardis boys going for the gap in the middle. So again, I've got this dilemma with all these white shirts. Thankfully, we'll probably see the start from our drone, which will give me the opportunity to look down from their positions. So I've got Prunier, I've got Lille Bardis, Koen Hermans, Ben van den Bogart, then Davy Sanders, who sadly for him retired with a mechanical problem in the very closing stages, the penultimate lap of race 1. And Jens Vincent there giving us a wave. Tim and Sam Lefferink doing their bit of gardening. Mike Hodges and Ryan Henderson on the second of the left-hand sidecars. And there's the quickest one, Brett Wilkinson and Joe Millard alongside Mike Hodges. So they're effectively starting now from 7th, again with the absence of Marvin van Lukenen. Our thoughts go to Marvin, and we seriously wish him well, and I think I speak for everybody on the grid. Nobody likes to see a champion when he's down, and when he's down with a mystery illness, then that is not a good sign. Tim Prumer and Justin Blumer, the number 17, with the Justin Blumer is rapidly becoming a super sub passenger. Justin Kerben and Dion Rietman, Joshua and Noah Weinman, the third of the left-hand sidecars. And then we move along into Baltic State country with the 444 crew. Where did they finish? Well, it's Robert Leitz and Markus Lehner, the treble 4. Adrian Petter, number 20. Gert Gordiev and Rodolphe Le Breton, 151. Stefan Wires, Han van Hal, who brought it home in 9th place in the opening race. And Stefan Wires might not have got the best start, but he is a man who keeps plugging away. They both do. They're a very solid outfit, and keep going right to the checkered flag. It's about 26 degrees here, just outside Gdańsk, and a lot of people are enjoying the sunshine. We've got about 2 minutes to go before we ease away here, and it's going to be a tough race. 30 minutes plus 2 laps ahead of these guys. They're the 91 crew, Benny Weiss, Patrick Schneider. No strangers to riding in hot conditions. Kerben and Prumer on the left. The German who is now on his 3rd passenger in this season, all due to those passengers having old or recently inflicted injuries through no fault of Tim's, I have to say. Well, let's hope the organisers have not put too much water down on the start-finish straight. It looks quite damp in the middle towards that 180-degree turn. They then rush away down the hill. You can't see the elevation change, but there is an elevation change. And we are here on pit lane here, and you can see where the guys will come hurtling down. One full front row and about 3/4 full on the second row. Watch it from the outside. It's Prunier right on the outside. Then it's Lille Bardis. Koen Hermans is next, and then it's Davy Sanders. So 15 seconds. 5-second board moves, and let's have a look from the outside. What can they do? This is the drone shot. Prunier gets the flyer. Prunier, Kylian Evon Prunier get the fly here. They get a whole shot, but who's creeping through? Nobody. Leeuwardis having a look. Leeuwardis going with them, but it's Prunier from Leeuwardis, all skating in to that left-hander, all bunching up. Everyone clean. Where's Brett Wilkinson? Can I see Brett Wilkinson? Did he get a decent start? Looking for the left-hand sidecar. I think I see Brett in about 8th or 9th place. Oh no, he's way further up than that. He's in 3rd place, I think, Brett Wilkinson. Yes, he is. Brett Wilkinson, Joe Millard in 3rd place. That's a cracking start for the British crew. They're ahead of Justin Kerman. Then it's the red plate of Koen Hermans. Then it's Davy Sanders. Then it's Tim Prumer in the orange trousers. Further back, it's the Lefferink boys. But Kylian Evon Prunier have got the dream start here. They've got the whole shot, and they've got 30 minutes plus 2 laps ahead of them to do in what I have to say is almost searing heat. Brett Wilkinson could not have hoped for a better start from the middle of that front row. 7th position, he lined up on the grid, and he's on the back now of Daniel and Bruno Leeuwardis. And since fitting a new chassis on Friday, working most of Friday morning, swapping everything over, brand new chassis, the Latvian boys say it feels more like the bike they rode last year, and they were certainly very fast last year. Lefferinks going past Tim Prumer. Brave over that jump, Tim and Sam Lefferink. But Kylian Evon Prunier, they can now ride their own race. Koen Hermans did not get the best of starts. So we'll be looking for Koen Hermans to see if he can make his way through. Just revitalising my timing screen, and away we go. Let's refresh it. Prunier, Leeuwardis, Wilkinson, Kerben. Sanders got another flyer. I don't know what his mechanical problem was in the opening race, but it's in the closing stages. And he got another flyer this time. He's credited with being in the top 5 at the moment, ahead of Tim and Sam Lefferink. Prunier from Leeuwardis and Brett Wilkinson. This is going to be a ding-dong scrap, I can tell you. It's too early to say, is it going to be a second consecutive Grand Prix win for Kylian and Evon Prunier? Far too early to say. We've only been going for 3 minutes. We've got 27 minutes of racing left remaining, and that is a long way. Looking for the red plate, and I'm looking to see where Koen Hermans is on the timing screen, and I cannot see Koen Hermans on the timing screen. I can. He's in 26 and dropping backwards, so Hermans is out of it at the moment. Koen Hermans has stopped somewhere on the track, and that really throws the championship wide open. That is sensational. I'll get you that news as soon as I find out, and maybe we can get one of our intrepid cameramen to pick up Koen Hermans wherever he is around the track, whether he's stationary or soldiering on. Brett Wilkinson credited 3rd, 4th, Kerben, Davy Sanders in 5th. Lefferink's up there, you can see the Lefferinks. And through the picture we go. Prumer in 7th. Lietze and Lena in 8th, ahead of Stefan Weyers and Han van Hal. That was a really good start for the Estonians of treble 14. Just panning there. I wonder if we were trying to pick up Koen Hermans there. But there he is. There is Koen Hermans, right down in the traffic with Romerick and Jocelyn Chanteloup, the French riders. So let's have a quick look, if I dare take my eyes off the screen. Chanteloup is in 19th place and Hermans has just gone past him. So Koen Hermans is in 19th and charging. 55 Lucas Ellicott. So he's making places up here. He's got 25 minutes to do it, Koen Hermans and Ben van den Bogart. We've seen him do this before, but this will be a sensational comeback if they can get in the top 5 from down there in 20th or so position. 914 Patrick Hengster, Selina Jahn, the only lady passenger in this race. She is there with her German driver, and they're about to be Hermans. Hermans goes past with relative ease, I have to say, on the inside. And ahead of them, well, I don't know if it's Ulla Karing. I think we've got a 54 crew there. Meanwhile, at the front, we've still got Kylian Evon Prunier, some 2 seconds ahead of Daniel and Bruno Lealbardis. This is going to be a long race in these hot conditions. Already 8 minutes of racing gone and 3 laps completed. On the way now round to complete their 4th lap, but Prunier from Lealbardis, Wilkinson still there. Wilkinson is right with the Lealbardis boys at the front. The number 54 crew there, well, that is Ulla Karing. That's Ulla Karing, 54. Thought it was, and Oliver Sebastian Lamp. They have just been given the Hermans and Ben van den Bogart treatment as well. When we get to Lommel, the next round, at the end of race 1 in Lommel, we will be exactly at half distance in the championship. But Koen Hermans will be well aware via his pit board of who is leading this race, and it's Kylian and Evon Prunier. Wilkinson still there on the back of the Lealbardis boys. Has the left-hand British crew got anything to answer to the young Latvians with their 750 single-cylinder 2-stroke Mega? Austrian-built Mega. There's Gert Gordiev and Rodolphe Le Breton. Le Breton looking over his shoulder, he can see the red plate coming. They will have seen them as well when they passed them first time. Now, Gordiev might be a slightly more difficult man to pass because they are still racing here. This is not an unlapping venture. Hermans is on the same lap, so he's having to ride his wits out here to make hay, and he's certainly making progress. Hermans, having gone past Gordiev, will now be up to 13th place, and ahead of him it will be Joshua and Noah Weinman, and I saw the left-hand German outfit going out of sight. Hermans will have them in his sight. He's got them in his sight. The number 25 orange-clad German brothers are now also about to get the Hermans and Van den Bogart treatment. This is a sensational ride through the field by Koen Hermans, and we're almost ignoring the men at the front, but it is an incredible ride, I have to say. Prunier still from Lealbardis. I'll let you know if that changes. Again now, still on the back of the Weinman boys, and of course the further up the field Koen Hermans goes, the harder it's going to be to make progress because everyone is going just that little bit faster. Joshua and Noah Weinman looking to see Koen Hermans come through. They'll be dismayed with that because that has taken more points away from them. Now ahead of them, well, if it's not Mike Hodges, it'll be a British crew, I think. But we're now looking at the front of the pack, and there goes Brett Wilkinson go through. And after Brett Wilkinson, it's Justin Kerben, and then it's Davy Sanders. But there we're back with the race leaders, Kylian and Evon Prunier. And Brett Wilkinson still very much in touch with the Lealbardis twins at the front. Another 22 points for Lil Bardis will really help his situation, because he's now on 88. After race 1. Hermans on 177, Prunier on 151, so the gap now 26 points, and they will be eating significantly into that margin if they continue this. But it will be a very different kettle of fish when we get to the deep sand of Lommel. So, my French friends, you better prepare yourselves, make the most of this hard pack, because you've got the deep sand of Lommel coming the next round. Where's Lil Bardis? Still there, but the gap now 3 seconds, and Brett Wilkinson a further 3 seconds back. There, the red plate. I saw the red plate going through. Lil Bardis, second place for Daniel and Bruno, still holding it. Prunier out and away. Wilkinson in a fine third from the start. Justin Gerben, Davy Sanders. And then the left rings in 6th place ahead of Tim Prumer. Stefan Wires in 8th, which is 1 place better than he went in the opening race. A good ride by Stefan Wires. Davy Sanders holding 5th here. Brett Wilkinson into that left-hander, still keeping sight of Daniel and Bruno. Lil Bardis. Let's have a look at the lap times. A 1:52.1 and a 1:51.8 from Brett Wilkinson last time round. Prunier 1:51.2 fastest lap. So those top 3 are not doing badly, but Lil Bardis is lapping slower out of the 3. He's in the 52s. Wilkinson posting a 51 is going to close him down if he maintains that pace. And they are indeed closing Daniel and Bruno, Lil Bardis down, and as I've said many times in commentary, you need no greater incentive than to see the outfit in front you're chasing. Now, back in the day when we used to earn good prize money, the driver I passengered through 4 seasons in the late 70s and into, well, in the late 70s basically, used to say that every rider in front of him had an imaginary £25 note stuck to his back. So every time he passed him, it was an extra 25 quid. That is the way to drag yourself along. Financial incentive is the best in the world. Lil Bardis then getting the hurry up from his loyal Latvian supporters. And here comes Koen Hermans, and who is next on Koen Hermans' hit list? It's Stefan Wires and Han van Hal. Stefan Wires and Han van Hal, fellow Dutchmen, compatriots of Koen Hermans, but he will hold no patriotic loyalty about nabbing them. They clash swords regularly in the Dutch Championship, and here they are now doing it on hardpack. Benny Weiss and Patrick Schneider have been relegated already, not having the ride that I would have expected from them. They're in 9th place, and Koen Hermans has just neatly dispatched them. Stefan Wires then will be next on the hit list. And here they are. Koen Hermans looking at the inside. He'll get the drive on here. This will be easy peasy, thank you very much. That is really, really good. The Mega just powers out of that right-handed bend. He gets the drive on in the rut, and it powers them through another place. So they are now up to 8th place, chasing Tim Prumer. We still have half the race remaining, and Koen Hermans' recovery here is nothing short of remarkable. Sensational performance by the 4 times world champion passenger and his very, very able driver. Since switching back to 2-stroke power, they've not really looked back. Still carrying the red plate, and they sincerely hope to be carrying it as they leave Poland at the end of play today. One or two incidents during the course of the day delayed our proceedings somewhat, but I think it's quite merciful really, because it's getting slightly cooler. Race leaders, Kylian Evan Prunier, coming up behind traffic now. They're unblemished and undirted, resplendent in their gear, having shot out of the gate to lead from the word go. Brett Wilkinson now dropping back down the order. Brett Wilkinson and Joe Millard have fallen from grace. They are dropping back down the order. Justin Kerben is now promoted to third. Davy Sanders fourth. Wilkinson has a problem here. Tim Primmer has also been relegated by Koen Hermans. So quite what happened to Brett Wilkinson, I have no idea. He's still credited at the moment with 6th place, but our sector times will help us gauge his progress. Will he stay there or will he drop further back? Now that's a catastrophe for Wilkinson after such a strong first half of the race. Now down to 6th. The timing screen has told me, but what happened there? Surely not another accidental cut-off switch episode. If that's the case, they really have to do something about that. Lefferings have gone by, Sanders has gone by, Wilkinson still, with Hermans on his way up. From Stefan Wires being relegated, Hermans on his way. Kylian Evan Prunier high in the air over the jump. Let's focus on what's happening at the race sharp end. 9 laps completed by the race leaders. 9 laps completed by Daniel and Bruno Vilbardis. Justin Kerben, 9 laps completed, so firmly ensconced in 3rd place. Sanders still there in 4th, making up for his misfortune in the opening race. Vilbardis boys doing a grand job. Lefferings in 5th. Yes, over they go in 5th place. Brett Wilkinson in 6th, so yes, he had a temporary mishap. Can he regroup in 6th place? Because right behind him is Koen Hermans and Ben van den Bogart. And they are some 10 seconds behind Brett Wilkinson, who is still running. So goodness knows what happened. There is Brett Wilkinson and Joe Miller. They're going again. They've got the Lefferings ahead of them, some 6 seconds up the road, having seen them gone past when they had their upset, whatever it was. I'm horrified to think it might have been another kill switch episode, in which case, as I say, something's got to happen to prevent that. You can't keep letting that happen. Over the jump they go, over the double jump they go in magnificent style. And let's see what their lap time will. 151.894. So they are lapping very well indeed. They're lapping quicker than Koen Hermans and Ben van den Bogart currently. Kylian Prunier though, 151.235. So come on boys, you've got the lap speed. Let's see you catch up Tim and Sam Leffering and claw a pace back. You've still got 11 seconds, 11 minutes and 15 seconds of racing to go before the 2-lap board. But good over those jumps. Brett and Joe in 3rd place in the standings as it goes, and a good result here will consolidate that. Where are Tim and Sam Leffering? There they are. There go the British crew over the jump. The Lefferings are right ahead of them. And ahead of the Lefferings, Davy Sanders with Justin Kerben. There, Brett Wilkinson, Joe Millard. 10 minutes of racing remain. They can see Tim and Sam Leffering ahead of them. And they are going to go for it. They're right on their case. They're by the tail ender. Driving around that bend with the left-hand sidecar. All the power from the P-Power 4-stroke. Pulling them round there. And gripping on the sidewall as well because they're in the side of the rut. Oh, they're really going for it now. They can smell the left rings. Where's it going to be? Plenty of passing places on this Gdańsk track now. Since it was revamped, they've made significant changes over the 3 times we've been here. 83, that's the lads with the teleforks. The young brothers, and they look very, very good indeed on that thing. Shouldn't distract myself, that's Kevin Veta, his brother Keith. Brett Wilkinson then on the back. So the young brothers on the 83 doing a good job. Are they in the points? Let me have a look if I'm brave enough to take my eyes off this action. Kevin and Kenny, no, they're 23rd, they're out of the points. Killian Prunier still well away, Lil Bardis 5 seconds adrift. Kerben off that, Sanders. And now the Leverings have got their hands full with Brett Wilkinson, who is having a good hard look. There they are, the drone shot round that bottom bend. Brett Wilkinson can drive hard round there. Behind Brett Wilkinson, it's Koen Hermans coming. Koen Hermans and Ben van der Bogart. So Brett Wilkinson now passed. He's absolutely passed him and Sam Lefrink. So that's up to 5th place. Davy Sanders next on his chopping board. So many times we've seen Wilkinson fight back from an incident or episode or a breakdown. He's great at fighting through. We're seeing another example of it, just as we're seeing Koen Hermans fight through. Wilkinson's time, 151.894, 153.1. So he's lapping now. He's dropped to 155. It's the same as Koen Hermans. In fact, Koen Hermans is lapping slightly quicker now. Brett dropping 4 seconds off his best time. But having relegated the Leverings, they've at least put the Dutch siblings in the way of their compatriots who are closing. Koen Hermans then next up to pass the Leverings, and the Leverings should do a good job of holding up the red plate holder. 7 minutes of racing remaining before we see the 2 laps. We've had 2 great races here in Gdańsk, and the organisers, hats off to them. They've given us a magnificent circuit to race on. They've organised fantastic weather, and the Latvian fans have provided a great deal of trackside entertainment. Look at the cars along the back of the skyline at the top of your picture. Those are predominantly Latvian supporters along there. The air horns, the flags in front of us. It's just a great pity there's no tradition of sidecar motocross in Poland. Maybe this 3rd Grand Prix here in the modern era will inspire a few Polish drivers either out of retirement or a few youngsters to pool their resources and get a sidecar outfit, because it's a great way to go racing. The team effort, the spirit of team competition is second to none. Brett Wilkinson then, we're riding with him. Davy Sanders is next up, and the gap is formidable. Davy Sanders is 17 seconds off, and Brett Wilkinson 36 off. So it's a formidable ask. And we are looking at Davy Sanders there. Justin Kerben ahead of him. So the 3rd and 4th places. And I really don't think, with Davy Sanders' lap times in the low 153s, Brett Wilkinson has got a hope in the hot place of catching him. Kerben then, this will be a very good ride for him, and it will march him mightily up the ranks. Currently sitting in 6th with Benny Weiss ahead of them, so they will relegate the Austrian couple if things stay the way they are. And that is Koen, that is Davy Sanders. And behind Davy Sanders, who have we got? Brett Wilkinson, but not anywhere in the same picture. Koen Dion Rietman. This is a battle for 3rd and 4th places. Coming into shot, my guess would be the tail ender. Koen looking steady here. This will be a good ride for him. Flicking it through that berm, kicking up the deep stuff. The sand here has dug up very well in this second race. We've had a quad race in the interim between the two sidecar races. How close is Koen to Lil Bardis? Well, he's about 8 seconds off second place. So the Lil Bardis boys have dropped their pace a bit. They're lapping at 1:56 the last time round. Koen is a second and a half quicker than that. And he's just passed Floyd Verhees. Floyd Verhees with a stand-in passenger this time. Niels Vesselink doing the honours for the young Dutchman. Koen then. Let's see if he can close down Lil Bardis. Because Lil Bardis is now 8 seconds off Kilian and Evan Prunier, who have now completed their 14th lap with 3.5 minutes to go. Lil Bardis 9 seconds off. And Justin Koen, has he got the Lil Bardis twins in his sights? And if so, well, no, he's still 9 seconds behind. Davy Sanders 3 off him. Brett Wilkinson still in 5th, but a good way back. Brett Wilkinson waiting to trip the beam here, or I'm waiting for Brett Wilkinson to trip the beam, which he's done. 16 seconds behind Sanders. Is it Lefrink or is it going to be Hermans? It's still Lefrink. Lefrink ahead of Hermans, who might well have blown a gasket. I don't mean that, I mean a proverbial gasket, in going so hard in the early stages of this race. 7th place at the moment for Koen Hermans, and he made that up from being 23rd, would you believe, when I first registered his position. So that is an outstanding effort. Lil Bardis twins then on their way to a 2nd consecutive runner-up spot here, and 22 more championship points. So it's a job well done for them in front of the Latvian fans, but we've still got 2 minutes and 2 laps of racing remaining. But the 94 Prunier brothers have done an impeccable job from start to finish here as we watch them approaching the countdown, the clock just under 2 minutes to go before they see a 2-lap board. And this will have been an immaculate performance. Riding across the ruts, not through it. They can pick their own lines. Kilian, a very intelligent driver, knows how to conserve energy. Knows when his brother might be running out of a bit of gas. But not so this season. Evan, you have done yourself proud, sir. Past Litsu and Lena outfit, who gave a good performance in the early stages of the race, but are now shadowing the race leaders. Ooh, that looked a bit ragged there. That's what happens when you pursue the existing rut. You get it to kick up when you least expect it. Waiting then for the Prunier boys to collect their 2-lap board. The clock will tick to 0. Will it be this time round or will it be next time round? Still half a minute remaining on this lap for Kilian Evan Prunier before they see 2 laps to go. And this will have been a copybook race for them. Brett Wilkinson still in 5th place, some 15 seconds behind Davy Sanders, but more importantly, 6 seconds ahead of the Lefrinks and a further 6 seconds ahead of Koen Hermans, who will have to vanquish Tim and Sam Lefrink before he can do anything about attacking Brett Wilkinson. That's it, clock to 0. The 2-lap board then, next time out, there it goes, perfect timing. You rode that one to perfection. 2 laps ahead of Kilian and Evan Prunier then, with a lot of traffic ahead of them, not that it will bother them. The red plate of Hermans. Ahead of him he's got Tim and Sam Lefrink, but Hermans is not a state force ever, as far as I'm concerned. Going past another back marker, that's Boyd Verhees and Niels Vesseling. But they will be seeing very shortly the red shirts and the blue helmets of Tim and Sam Lefrink, and there they are. And that is another spur to the impetus of Koen Hermans. Halfway around the penultimate lap, the race leaders are. Koen Hermans, Ben van den Bogart doing the best of a bad job here and doing remarkably well, up to 7th place. But Brett Wilkinson will certainly overtake Marvin van Lukenen in the standings and will eat into the race leader's advantage as well, who's now on the inside of Tim and Sam Lefrink, and that is where they tried the overtaking move so many times, but it didn't work that time because the Elica boys, the 55 crew, were on the racing line, and Lucas, Elica and Leon Freigang had to, well, they had to settle for second best, but it still means that Koen Hermans, halfway around his penultimate lap, has now got Tim and Sam Lefrink still ahead of him, and that's not what they want to see. But they're doing Brett Wilkinson a huge favour. 1 lap to go then for the race leaders. 1 lap here in Gdańsk for Kilian and Evan Prunier. Let's hope that rear suspension holds up, boys. You don't want it collapsing just like it did in the closing stages at Fox Hill in the British Grand Prix. This has been an amazing performance, and you come here full of confidence on the crest of a wave, and boy, have you two delivered. Vive la France, they'll be saying. We'll get the Marseillaise on the top of the podium again. Let's hope I'm not tempting fate. Kilian Evan Prunier bringing the Zabel home ahead of Lil Bardis, 11 seconds adrift, just 6 seconds now ahead of Kilian and Evan Prunier. And this is a lap of honour, almost, for Kilian Evan Prunier, who have done an amazing job here. With this fantastic result. Air horns going, Benny Weiss and Tim Brummer 9th and 10th, from Mike Hodges in 11th. But Kilian Prunier with Evan Prunier doing the double here in Gdańsk. What more can I say but absolutely brilliant, boys. Well done. An equally fantastic performance from the Lil Bardis boys after what has been a very sluggish start for them to the season, but they've put it right. Showboating then, checkered flag for Kilian Evan Prunier. You've done it, boys. You have done it. What more can I say? Lil Bardis boys some 11 seconds adrift. But over they come, Daniel and Bruno Lil Bardis congratulating each other, and rightly so. Justin Kerben, fantastic result. And that is terrific. 4th place for Davy Sanders, 5th for Brett Wilkinson. Lefrinks, well, they succumbed to Koen Hermans and Ben van den Bogart, who make it over in 6th place. Lefrinks 7th. Brilliant from the Leeuwardis boys, and brilliant from these guys as well. Fantastic, fantastic result. Brunier, I'm not even going to try and work the points out, except 25 to 151 is 176. And Hermans, Bruno feeling the heat a little bit there. Daniel feeling the heat a little bit. Exhausted. It's hard won. Hard fought battle. Koen, absolutely brilliant. Well, we will get the standings. I'm not going to try and work out the... they might be exhausted, but it's double victory here, an overall victory for the Prunier boys, and we have Evan Prunier down there to talk to us. Let's hear it from us.
So Evan, you took the whole show and then you were confidently leading for the whole race. 2nd GP win in a row. What can you say?
Well, yeah, amazing. We had a perfect start, all shot, and yeah, we lead all the race. We find, yeah, at the middle of the race was really tough, and we deserve to find new lines, and yeah, it was a tough GP for us. First 1-1 and back-to-back, crazy.
Currently you are on the 2nd position in the championship standings. It's perfect.
Yeah, for sure. That's what we wanted to go in Lommel. So yeah, see you in Lommel.
Yeah, see you in Lommel. Good luck for that.
Thank you.
Well, that's brilliant. I make it that Hermans gets 15 points to add to his 177. That is amazing. What a fight back for that. Put him on 193, so the Prunier boys are closing in. They looked exhausted on the line, but let's hear it from the Leeuwardis brothers. And we've got the driver, Daniel Leeuwardis. I think he's recovered enough to talk to us. Come on, Daniel.
So Daniel, 2nd position in the 2nd race and 2nd overall. I think that the change of the chassis helped you a lot.
Yeah, the change worked. As we see, we are 2nd in this race. So yeah, I was happy with the bike, with the engine, everything worked perfect. Yeah, next GP just have to get, I think, maybe more fit with the arms, and I think it will only get better.
Yeah, you have here many Latvian fans, so they will see you on the podium. So that's a perfect result.
Yeah, of course, I'm happy that we did it also here, where there are a lot of Latvian fans, and yeah, I could see almost every corner a Latvian flag. That also helped.
Yeah, congratulations and see you on the podium.
Thank you.
Well, amazing, and we've got 3rd overall Justin Koen as well. You know, it's very consistent. 4th in the 1st race for Koen, 3rd in the 2nd race. He's got to be utterly, utterly delighted. He's back. He's back with a bang. Make no mistake about it. Justin Koen, Dion Rietman are back. What a fantastic Grand Prix we've had here in Gdańsk. I'd like to hear from Justin. Hopefully we'll get an interview from him if he's got enough energy left to talk to us, but nothing ever keeps Justin quiet. Oh, and even more so, we have the passenger. We have Dion Rietman, Justin's sidekick. Never lost for words. Come on, speak to us, Dion. Dion, what have you got?
So Dion, 3rd place here in Gdańsk, podium for you. It's a perfect result, but I think it was a tough race with the weather and the heat and everything. What can you say about it?
Yeah, it certainly was a tough race because the track was really gnarly, 1st and 2nd race. But shout out to the club for prepping this track, because the rest of the weekend was perfect, but maybe a little too wet. But very happy to be back on the box, because it's been 2 years for me, and for just a little less, but yeah, very happy to be here.
Yeah, congratulations for the podium, and hope to see you there next time again.
Yes, me too, for sure. Thank you.
Well done, Dion. Fantastic. Dion Rietman there, he and Justin Koen. Overall then, Pruniers, you saw that, 50 points, they get a maximum. Lil Bardis, Koen third, 35 points to be added to Koen Hermans' total. He's still on top, he keeps the red plate. Wilkinson in fifth, still, but closing. Left Rinks, well, you know, it's a good result for these boys. The overall standings will put Brett Wilkinson up there in third, I'm sure. Fifth on the day, third in the total standings. So further down the order, Tom van der Lagermaat, Robbie de Veener, they'll be a little bit disappointed. But now you can see it. Brett Wilkinson in third place with quite a healthy cushion over Marvin van Leeuwen now. Get well soon, Marvin. We're all thinking of you, mate. Koen closing up the gap, and Marvin will have to be strong in the sand. Prunier, though, they are really closing in now on Koen Hermans. Must feel that they have a chance of this year's championship. Benny Weiss, Patrick Schneider dropping down just a little bit. Tim Brummer, not the best of years for him, but he's a fighter. He'll be back by his own admission. We will see him. Stefan Wires there, Han van Hal behind Mike Hodges, and the Wyman brothers top of the second table there. Daniel Williamson, Mikael Gabor, well, Michael wasn't here, and Daniel didn't go out, passenger problems. Well, going to leave it for a little while now. We will be back for the prize giving ceremony, but in beautiful weather, we're going to take a short break from Gdańsk. Don't go away. If you want to see the ceremony, join us again. From me, Barry Nutley. See you soon. Bye-bye. Williamson is 10 times the world champion. Bax and Stupilis, they've done it again. Unbelievable. Marvin van Leeuwen certainly deserves the red plate. And what an incredible sport this is. Fast, high and spectacular. Unbelievable. Welcome back to Gdańsk. This is me, Barry Nutley, talking you through, or going to be talking you through the prize giving ceremony for the overall positions. And well, we saw an absolutely brilliant race with the Prunier brothers taking their second successive overall victory. 2 GPs in a row. Lil Bardis boys, that'll be a popular runner-up spot for them. The crowd gathering around the podium because, well, they can't get too close, but they can certainly get close enough. It'll keep them away from the champagne when it goes. And our trackside announcer will obviously get on with the formalities, and we've got various dignitaries from the FIM to present the awards, and they will be coming up in turn. We've got a guy from the president of business of PZM, Marek Szumilewski, and we've got Pavel Kurajk, the organizer, and we've also got Marianne Zupo, who's the president of the club, with whom we had a very pleasant dinner in the hotel last night, I have to say. And the red plate will be presented by Thomas Pavlovchik, who is the FIM chief steward. The public address commentator, obviously speaking in Polish, and also English, so we're getting the best of both languages there. The Latvian flags, here we go then. For the Netherlands, third place, Justin Koen and Dion Rietman. As you heard Dion say in the interviews, it's 2 years since he was on the box. Justin was there a little bit more recently. Daniel and Bruno Leopoldis, runners-up, very popular runners-up here in north of Poland. And they are smiling again. It's good to have them back on the podium after a spell in the doldrums. And now from France, second top of the box in a row, Kylian, Yvon Prunier, double French champions, and rightful winners here this weekend. Top of the podium. And third place award, Marek Szomeliewski, who's the president of business of PZM for Poland. Thank you, Marek. Good job done there. And now the second place trophy presented by Pavel Kurek, who is the organizer on behalf of the organizing club here. The winning trophy will be presented by Marian Zupa, who is the club president here for the Motor Club of Gdańsk, and of course the leading light behind the organisation of this event. A former 500cc GP rider in his own right. Smiles all round. Wonderful stuff. The red plate presented by Thomas Pavlovchik, who is the FIM Chief Steward. And we'll call upon Thomas to do that. There he is. Welcome to Thomas. The red plate stays with Koen Hermans and Ben van den Bogart with a reduced margin of something in the region of 15 points. So they're closing in, boys. We are not yet at the halfway stage of the championship. A pair of very happy brothers for second, and an even happier pair of brothers for the top step of the podium, and we should be getting the French national anthem. Very emotional, Kylian Prunier, and quite emotional, Barry Nutley actually. Well done. Now the champagne then. Absolutely terrific Grand Prix here in Gdańsk. Polish Federation and the club, the Gdańsk Motor Club, have done it again. Well, I hope you've enjoyed your live stream.